And we have begun. Hi, everybody. This is Peter Palmiotti, and if you'd like to support this show and others like it and all the videos that I do, go to Patreon under Peter Palmiotti, and you can play $1 a month or more. I'm going to be updating my page, but it'll be relatively similar to what it is now. But for those that don't know, I've been on Jeff Lafferty's Artcast lately, and that show is continuing. Oh, I gotta turn off my video. Sorry.
That was me too.
Oh, my volume's actually up. That was yours. Yeah, so I've been on the Artcast, and that's a regular thing. Me and Jeff are working ever closer together so that we're both even more successful, in theory. So that's going well, and I've been meaning to get a lot more videos out, but just I've been wrapped up in so many different things, working on comic books by people and trying to get my stuff more lined up. The things I did for one of my Patreon levels is doing a piece by request, and I got actually Kevin Phillips is one of my supporters, and he's at the $15 a month rate, and he gets to request a piece, and this is the piece I'm doing for him. He simply asked for an alien piece, and I threw in a sort of Bollywood sort of background to it. And I'll probably finish tomorrow. And he just gets a digital file of it, so then I'll throw up the original artwork onto eBay. So hopefully I can get this done tomorrow. I got comic pages to get to and whatnot. For tonight's show, I want to do something Walking Dead related, and I'm going to try to attempt that while chatting. But first, I'll introduce those that are here. Others may show up. By going left to right, we got Brad. Hey, Brad, introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up? I am Brad Utterstrom, and I'm a sketch card guy. Is that good enough, or you need a little more there?
Cool. Well,
yeah, I do primarily sketch cards. I do primarily sketch cards. I started with mostly sports stuff, but I do a bit of both. Right now, I've got Sons of Anarchy coming out at the end of the month, and I'm currently working on a Star Wars set. And I just finished up a couple baseball sets that one of them comes out tomorrow, and one of them came out last week. So those are both tops.
That's really awesome.
So I've been busy.
Yeah, it's good to be busy. Then we have Johannes.
Hey gang, what's up? My name's Johannes Vick, Vick with a V, and I'm working on my own comic, The Pelican, which is kind of like a sci-fi kind of future apocalyptic based Goonies tale on a boat. I guess you could say it's kind of like a treasure hunt. And you can find me pretty much everywhere. I do a YouTube video. I'm doing my second round of the 100s. I'm on day 30-something, I think. I get mixed up pretty easy.
So 130-something. Yeah, that's pretty high.
Yeah, I'm getting up there. So you can find me on Patreon as well. Peter Palmiotti is helping me out with some of the writing and editing and whatever else might be needed along the way there. You can also find me on Pinterest, Tumblr, Twitter, and anything else I can get my hands on, really. And I try to update those as often as possible.
Cool. Well, welcome to the show. And
thanks.
Lastly, so far, we have Kenny Keene.
Hey, what's going on? My name's Kenny Keene. Working on a book called Slayer. Taking me a little while to get back to it. Been about 2 months since I've actually worked on much of it. But also, I do YouTube series called Drawing Dead. I do Walking Dead characters, ink them and color them. That's also I've been kind of slacking on that lately, but it's convention season. I've been focusing on getting a lot of prints ready. My website is midnighthorizoncomics.com. You can go there and check out my work. And I guess that's it.
Cool. Well, I'll put all your YouTube links in the show notes below the video, and
Nice.
once the video is up, so people can go check out your channels and see your links there. I have almost all my links on my YouTube page, but I am in the process of getting a website up, and it's actually, you can go to it now, but it's really sucky, but it's humanartstudio.com will be my website. So that's my studio name, and I stand by it.
Nice.
I like it. I like the name.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
It's good name.
Well, I wanted something that wouldn't conflict with anybody else's. Nobody uses human art, so I went for it. But yeah, we're here to talk about Walking Dead, and it will definitely have spoilers. All of us here, I believe, are super fans, as they say.
Definitely.
I'm watching the episode right now, so no spoilers
And
yet.
it's.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. You didn't.
No,
see
no,
the
I'm
last one?
kidding. I'm kidding. I do have it on the TV, but I did watch it when it was
You
on
didn't see,
live.
you
I
didn't
did
see
see
the
it.
one where Rick died?
I did see that.
Okay, cool. I myself have been watching it since day one. I read the comic series up until issue 50, maybe 51. I do have the digital version up until I think the penultimate issue of the big storyline. I forget what it was called. Something War that they had recently.
All Out War?
All That War, yeah.
Yeah, and eventually I'll get to reading it. I just, I've been so swamped
We won't give you any spoilers on that, man.
doing other things, but if anybody that doesn't know, the comic series has diverted more and more away. I mean, the TV series has diverted more and more away from the comic series. Is good. It's definitely keeping up with what's important in the comic, which is it's really about the characters.
Yeah.
It's not just another zombie story.
Yeah, but I think
it's characters. Yeah, go ahead.
they're still kind of like keeping the some of those aspects of like the things that happened in the comic book, but they're still trying to, I guess, keep everybody, it open for everybody. I feel like. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, and I'm sure they want some surprises
Yeah,
too. For
so-
the
Yes.
people
Yeah,
who
that's kind of what I was
converted.
trying to say. I guess.
Yeah, they mix it up a little bit to keep the fans, the comic fans, guessing.
I have not read any of the comics, but I have watched all of the TV. So.
Well, I loved it, and it's one of the it's the only show that I'm currently, I watch it live. I think I only missed 2 or 3 episodes this season because we had a pretty horrendous winter, snowstorms and whatnot. I don't have cable in my house, so we go to different friends have it. and we usually watch it there and make a whole party and
Oh yeah,
hang
that's kind
out.
of cool.
Yeah.
That's a
So
good way to
it's
do it.
even more exciting than any average show.
Yeah. When I first started watching, I had a
and
buddy.
plus, with the
We watched it together. Sorry.
yeah. No problem. We're going to, talk over each other, so don't worry about it. That's part of it. But, with the Talking Dead after it makes it so cool, like unlike any other show out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, I've got a quick
So
question.
it really is.
For
Sure.
a couple of people that I've just been chatting with some people. Are we live broadcasting now? And where's the link maybe that I could send people to if they're interested?
I put it in the chat.
Okay, I've got to find
I
it.
put the
My chat's like, I don't see it.
if you click on the left of the screen,
Okay, I got it.
there's the word balloon, and then the chat opens, and it's that link right there is the YouTube link.
Awesome, thanks.
I noticed we get Kevin Phillips. He says, I always get them secondhand on Netflix. Actually, me and Lisa, my girlfriend and fiance, we watched actually the whole show during the mid-season break, just to sort of catch up on everything again. This has been a while since we've seen the earlier seasons.
Yeah.
And it so holds up. It's like, we both said like, oh, the second season is the slowest one, but so much happened in the second season we totally forgot.
True.
But it's like a weird experience, like living through it, watching it live, waiting for the next episode, anticipating what might or might not happen, and then just going back and sort of watching them all in a row. It's like, wow, so many people have died, so many new characters have been added, and new situations they've gone through. You really, start to really, really feel sorry for these people.
Yeah, they get it pretty bad. Just when you see them, like, use running water, like take a hot shower, man, you realize, how bad they've got it,
Oh yeah.
Seeing their reactions to, a hot shower.
Yeah, like when they finally find a place they can take a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a big event for them. Definitely.
I think it's one of those shows you were just kind of saying something similar, but where you can't help but put yourself in the situation of the characters. Like when I'm watching it, my wife is always like, now, what would we do if zombies showed up right now? Like, just playing out the scenario of like where I would hide in the rafters in the garage and make sure there's no way for them to get up. So I didn't start watching it when it first was on. I held off for a long while, and everybody kept talking about how great it was. So they were probably in season 3, I think, when I finally started watching season 1. But yeah, it's definitely been one of my favorite shows now that I watch it regularly.
Yeah. So you read the comic at all?
I have not. I'm not really a comic guy at all to begin with, but no, I have not. I've just heard what they talk about on Talking Dead and things like that. So I can't make a comparison between the show and the comic.
I still think the comic is a lot better, but that's just, I think a lot of people do, but I guess it's a matter of opinion. But I don't know. It's they will. One thing, it's not censored as much either. They can pull a whole lot more off. They can do pretty much whatever they want.
Yeah, I get so sucked into the comic book where like I'll just go on because I don't buy it when it first comes out, you know.
Yeah,
And I'll wait until you get some of the what are they, the graphic novels,
yeah. The trade. That's what I do too. Yeah,
and I just binge, you know, the way that like that everybody kind of like binge watches the seasons I've
Right. I
binged.
was gonna say that's the same thing.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm the same way, man. I hate waiting a month just to read, see what happens, or waiting to see what happens. So I do the same thing.
Yeah, because I like to be so sucked into it. I mean, the writing is so good, and
I,
I don't I love the artwork. Like it's not phenomenal. It's not earth shattering or anything. It's
Yeah,
just it's so appropriate for the book that everything disappears. The writing for me disappears. The artwork disappears. I've got to like kind of go back and relook at the artwork and examine it because everything's so seamless for me.
yeah.
What just out of curiosity, what's like
I,
your favorite points in the book or the book, TV show, whatever of the past couple of seasons where you know where was that favorite moment of yours for kind of just open for everybody?
I think when the
there's so many.
when the governor took the prison, I mean, I think that was pretty epic there. And I mean, in the comic and the TV show, it was pretty. I mean, that was a big event.
Yeah, yeah, it was so gruesome.
It was it just seems to get bigger and bigger. I mean, there's a group of people on a farm, and then they go off and they're looking around, and then they come across this prison,
Yeah,
and then there's the town, and they go back and forth between the two, and it becomes a whole all-out war in and of itself, and just really, it's a motley group of people. If we're talking about like any season, and it's so well done, so well put together that it doesn't seem, just put together. It really they work off of each other so well, and it's an interesting batch of people. Like, if you look at the whole spectrum of just like Carol's character, she is so that it's unbelievable. And she was a little like scared mouse in the beginning.
yeah,
Had an abusive husband
That's a
and
good
just wanted to, hide.
Yeah, she's had a pretty major transformation out of any of the characters.
yeah. She's become one of my favorites. I never thought I would say that, but just the way her character's developed, man, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and kudos to have like a character who's not like a young, gorgeous supermodel. It's just an average person,
Yeah,
older woman who becomes such a lovable character in many ways. If you like that sort of thing.
yeah,
She's and a lot of its subtlety, especially within the town they are now.
yeah.
The group knows about her, but the people in the town don't, are getting to know.
Oh, but they're getting
Yeah,
it
I
more.
haven't figured out yet at all.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it's going to take for every one of them to be at the end of that blade.
You have a character like Maggie, who is lovable and dangerous, who has been a victim, who's been through the ringer, who has had her family, killed off one by one, and she's a great character. I mean, they're all great characters, and we can go through the whole cast. But
Yeah,
you know,
she's been maybe screwed over the most, having lost, everybody close to her, and that she knew before the whole apocalypse. I mean, Glenn is kind of all she's got left in the group, but she
Yeah.
didn't meet them till after.
yeah.
So she's had it maybe the hardest.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if she didn't have Glenn, I don't know that she would be in One Piece right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I was
She's been
wondering that
through.
last episode, like, I was already starting to think about how that would, because it looked like he was a goner, but of course you can
Yeah.
never count on it until it happens. But I mean, there was that one moment where it's like, oh yeah, how are they
Yeah.
how are they going to pull him out of this?
Yeah, he just got 8. I
He's
don't know
just
how he
like-
got out still.
That's true. They didn't even.
I was really worried for him.
Yeah, they pulled a total comic book card there. They were just like, whatever. We're not
Yeah.
going to explain this at all. We're just going to have him come back kick the crap out of this guy because he deserves
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh yeah, he made it. That's all you need to know.
Yup.
But I mean, this season alone, they did kill off a lot of lovable characters.
Yeah.
Tyrone
Quite a
being one of them. Was it her Maggie's sister?
Maggie's
in-
sister, yeah.
was
Yeah,
that
Beth.
that was
Yeah, the mid-season.
or
Beth,
mid,
and,
was that mid-season? It's like I forget which is what season. Yeah, that was the mid-season. Yeah. That was horrible, horrendous.
yeah.
She was a loving spirit. That's Beth.
Yeah, and what was too bad about that is they were building up her character and building up her character, and you finally starting to get her more and care about her, and then
Yeah.
they rip her away.
Yeah.
My wife was really distraught by that whole thing. She's like, I don't even think I want to watch this show anymore because I was finally starting to care about her. They kill off anybody else I like, I'm done. Which I think is a good thing. That means she's invested in the show,
Yeah, I like how they was building her up, but that episode where she was at the hospital and it showed no one else but her, and you had the what was
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
The cop. Yeah, that was probably the worst show for me as
Oh,
far
really?
as I don't know. I guess it was just because you was trying to get to know all these characters that really pretty much they're not even on there now. You was getting to know the cop
Noah?
lady. Well, Noah, yeah. Which he got to stick around for a while, but the whole cast at the hospital, the doctor,
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, I just felt like kind of wasted.
Huh.
At first, I thought that was going to be a spin-off show because I heard they was working on one, a spin-off show for The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I've
thought
heard that
maybe
too.
they was trying to work that in somehow, but apparently not.
Walking Dead MD.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there is a spin-off show, right?
Yeah.
I think I did
Yeah,
see
they
Now
were-
announced it officially, right? And
It's Fear the Walking Dead is
Yeah.
the title.
yeah, okay.
I believe it comes out in July, and it's a totally different cast. It's located in Los Angeles, and it's
Okay.
at the same time in the timeline. It's at the same time as when Rick was in a coma in the hospital, which means
Right.
it's at the beginning of the zombie apocalypse.
So
Right.
they're gonna give
So it
the explanation as to what happened.
well
They are, is what you're
maybe.
saying? We don't know.
I don't think that's important. We'll see. Knowing Kirkman, probably not.
I hope
But,
not.
who knows?
I hate it when they do that stuff.
Yeah.
When they what?
When they give away like origins and things, like I was so mad about
Yeah.
like Wolverine, I keep going back to that, but it makes me mad. I don't care about the Weapon X project. I liked it when he was a mysterious man.
Well, I like the Weapon X. We're talking about Wolverine. I like the Weapon X storyline, but when they, sort of broke down every detail, like, yeah, who cares?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Um,
I hope
but
that.
I think they'll. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I really hope that they don't they don't give too much of it away. I hope that
Yeah.
they kind of keep that mystery, like they're still searching for what happened, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
think it will be more like this. This is how the world reacts when it happens, kind of situation.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but we'll see. Um, but this last season of Walking Dead was brutal, and Kirkman's described it the whole season as the calm before the storm, which kind of doesn't make sense, but um, a lot has happened in the last season, and definitely like where you can see ahead be them sort of not taking over the town, well, although who knows, um, but becoming more of a deciding factor in what happens with the town.
Yeah.
I'm almost kind of scared at Rick's transformation now. It's like I don't want him to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
But he
Kind of
seems to be like becoming a little too paranoid.
kind of like Shane in a way,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
Oh yeah, there's definitely parallels there. The weird thing though is that they were building him up to go off the deep end, and then the way it kind of ended up, the way the season ended up, it was kind of like, oh, he was right.
he?
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It kind of made everything he did make sense, or made excuses for him, or whatever.
Yeah. That was a way to end it too, man. Like his buddy
I think
Morgan
that's
shows up right when he blows the dude away, man. Say, hey, Rick.
What
Oh
are
yeah,
you doing?
that's right.
What I miss.
that's sort of the writing of the show, or
Yeah.
writing of a lot of shows actually. It's like, what are they up to? What's going on? Why are they going off in this weird direction? And then like the reveal.
Yeah.
But yeah. I hate that they got rid of Tyrone now. I thought he would be more of a ongoing character.
Oh yeah, Tyrese, man. I hate it. Yeah, I hated that.
Tyrese.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was hoping he would be around a lot
That was
longer.
sort of a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think both who was the girl that got killed at the hospital?
Beth.
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 Yeah.
I was really shocked that they got rid of her when they did. I mean, and him as well. I mean, they were.
Yeah.
I guess that's just like their new model.
Right.
They're gonna slowly get you in there with them.
See, I wasn't as shocked with him after just having dealt with the way they killed off Beth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I can see that. It wasn't quite as shocking.
'Cause,
Right.
in the comic, he was more. I mean, he was more of a badass, I mean, which he was on the show at the beginning, but he kind of, I guess, come to terms with a lot of stuff. But I was thinking we was gonna see a little more of that before, he left the show. Because he was a pretty tough dude on there. I mean, and especially in the comic, there was one time I think didn't he get locked in a room with like a bunch of zombies, and he fought his way out with the hammer, which I think he did that
Yeah,
one time
that's
with
true.
with the car.
Yeah.
When he got out of the car, that happened, I think. But I was just thinking that was going, he was going to go back to that a little bit, but I guess the
Yeah, I
timing
mean,
was good on it.
he was a real character, like him and Rick butted heads
Yeah.
a lot more severely in the comic, of course.
Yeah.
You know, the comic was much more brutal, especially when it came to like Michonne
Yeah.
and the governor.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
which I love, but I can understand why it wasn't
Yeah.
in the show. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, it probably would have
Yeah.
been canceled or thrown off the air or
Well,
something.
there's certain guidelines
But
that they have to follow when they make shows like
Yeah.
this. I mean, they can make like squishy and scary, but it can't be too suspenseful and it can't be too graphic. But you know, or it could be real I don't know. There's some sort
Yeah.
of like specific guidelines that they have to go along
I
with.
think they get away with a ton, but
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, for a television show, I think they get away with a lot.
Yeah.
But you know, if it was a movie or if it was, I don't know, direct to DVD or something, they can, you know, do nudity and they could do more extreme violence. But it's I don't think it's necessary. I mean, you know, the characters have sex appeal without being naked, and the violence is blatant a lot of times, but it's just crafted well so that you feel it rather than see it.
Right.
Have you guys do you guys get the I don't know what station is around here. It's like Fox maybe, who's starting to do reruns of it on Wednesday nights, and it's not all that late either. It's like 7, 8 o'clock at night.
I hadn't.
I don't
I hadn't
know.
seen that.
I'll have to look it up.
Is it like a regular? I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
they started it from the beginning. I'll have to look it up. Let me see. Talk amongst yourselves.
like
Yeah, I haven't noticed that, but then I would
let's see, Channel
wouldn't
9.
watch the replays anyway, 'cause I can watch
What
it
was
whenever I
that?
want.
So far, I think all I've
Is
seen
it a
is
free TV
AMC.
station?
Yeah, I think it's like PHL 17 or 29 or
Is
something
it?
like that. Schedule Walking Dead AMC. Yeah,
I don't know
it's
what
channel
that
17.
even is.
It's one of those channels that's been in Philadelphia since like the dawn of time. Let's see. It
I
says
know.
Uh-huh.
AMC, they wear it out. I know they show the
yeah.
reruns constantly, especially right before like
Mhm.
the new season starts or whatever.
It's coming this September. That was in 2014. But it's yeah, I don't know. I so seldomly actually watch like regular television, so I don't understand why there's not like
Yeah.
here.
I don't know anybody who does other than for sports or something.
What I
Watches
like
regular
is
TV at this point.
what I like is people who don't like comics, how they get into these things and they don't know it's based on a comic and they're like, oh, that's awesome. And I'm like, yeah, you see what you've been missing, you know? That's a comic or from a comic.
Yeah, my one of my buddies
Yeah,
he does like Fear Fest, which is the horror movies and whatnot
Oh, okay.
for
yeah.
it's like the comic or you know the con of horror movies. And he's like a huge Walking Dead fan. I said to him the other day, I was like, you know, you got to read the comic books. And he goes, it's a comic book.
Jeez.
Really, he does that convention and he doesn't know it's a comic.
Yeah, he had no clue.
Yeah, I mean it. Nah, I'm not saying that, you know, people who don't read comics or nothing like that, but you know, like people who bash comics and then they're like into these shows or comic-based movies, you know, it's kind of
Yeah.
like, man, don't you understand? That's a comic. But I guess it's good though. It can kind of bring people, make them more aware of the comics, and I know a few people who start reading the comics and you know from watching the show and like got into the comics too.
Yeah, it's and if anybody's really into the show and doesn't read the comics, you don't need to.
Yeah.
It's a little added bonus, I think, but it's also confusing to keep track of both of them. It's like the same characters but a different universe. It's like watching,
Yeah.
Avengers as a movie and
And a
reading the
cartoon.
comic, way
Yeah.
different things.
There's the train.
But it's the train coming to pick up the dead.
I think it's headed to Jeff's house now.
But I just I just love that, Walking Dead is like, I think it's pretty much the most popular TV show out there right now,
Yeah.
except for maybe Game of Thrones, but that's
Yeah.
sort of a different cult of people.
Yeah.
You don't like Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah, I like it, but
I love Game of Thrones, but I'm saying, like, I know that's super popular. I'm not sure which is more popular, Walking Dead or Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But I know it's a totally different sort of audience. It's a
Oh,
lot
gotcha.
more specific audience.
Gotcha.
Almost anybody can turn on Walking Dead and watch it and enjoy it. But you really have to know a lot of the history to turn on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
To figure out what character has to do what, and, different kings and
Yeah.
cultures and whatnot.
I actually watched not trying to change the subject, but the first episode of the new season of Game of Thrones today. And you know how they show you what's happened before? It was like 5 minutes of stuff. They went all the way back to the beginning, trying to like catch you up.
A lot of you have to recap a lot of stuff.
Yeah. But like Walking Dead, I don't think they have to do that as bad, like what Peter was saying.
Yeah, this guy got eaten last year, and so
Yeah, I love the show, but you really have to watch it a couple of times probably to get it all in.
We went out.
Because I know I lose track easily of who's who.
Yeah.
My wife and I went out to dinner the other night. We actually ran into a couple of our friends who are like super Game of Thrones and fans, and we don't watch it. So when they were talking about it, I had no idea how in depth the whole series was, and you know, how even like the fans get super confused as well. Sometimes.
Yeah,
It's a lot to
I
keep
can
up with.
imagine. Yeah, I mean, it is becoming that a little bit. I mean, it has a rich history now, but you can I think pretty much you can jump on and just catch up later. You can jump on board now and just go back and watch the other ones and sort of figure out what's what.
Yeah, I think at some point in time shortly we're gonna wind up binge watching the from the start.
Yeah.
It seems like more and more of our friends are getting on board with it, so we're gonna wind
That's
up.
a good way to do it for sure.
Yeah.
And I'll probably be about the same. I watched the first season and I think the second, and I've got the DVD of season 3, but I haven't watched any of those, so I'm a good 2 or 3 seasons behind. Is it 5 that just started?
Yeah, 5 just started.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I'll end up doing the same.
That'll make for some interesting art. From
I did actually do a bunch of Game of Thrones sketch cards of the first season. No, a bunch, like
So,
5 or 10.
Super good.
Well, I definitely recommend there's a woman on YouTube goes by Comic Book Girl 19, and she has done sort of review shows and just talking about Game of Thrones. If you want to learn a lot about Game of Thrones without watching the show, It's definitely a good way. So let's see. You asked favorite moments of Walking Dead. There's so many, like when Carol back, when she showed up and saved the group essentially from
Yeah.
the Terminites. I thought that was fantastic, and when she met up with Daryl, when Daryl's about to cry, when it looks like he's about to cry, that's always a great moment.
Yeah.
Because he's such a tough guy. But he wears his heart on his sleeve, and it just shows on his face so well. He's an awesome character.
I thought it was only the ladies who liked him.
Well, definitely like Lisa, my girlfriend loves him. I like him in the sense of like he's a guy having a good time, just.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. He's the ladies' man though.
Yeah. If they ever kill him,
Yeah,
if
he's
they ever kill him off, man, for sure, I think there'll be like a big riot.
Yeah. Even
yeah.
that last episode, even though he was like, it looked like there was no way out.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way they're getting rid of Daryl.
Yeah.
They'll lose half their viewers.
Yeah.
What do you guys think if they because there's been some talk through the grapevine, and even he's come out and said it. I think someone asked him. I don't know if it was Conan O'Brien or what, but there's been talk about them making him possibly be gay within the years to come.
Yeah, I was.
How do you think that would
wondering.
affect the ratings in the show?
He's not going to be. I mean, at least that's what
Clear that up right away there, Peter.
Norman Reedus said. Yeah, just
Who said
clear
that?
that up right away. But nothing. Yeah, nothing against it. But I mean, now they obviously have gay characters in the show. But it's sort of like the I don't know if like if you guys ever watched Moonlighting or Cheers or 100 shows out there. There's like that sort of relationship that a show is pinned on that is like, are they or aren't they? Will it happen? Will they kiss?
Yeah.
And I feel that way about Daryl and Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It may or may not ever happen, but it's like that tension is always there. And all of a sudden, made him a gay character and hooked up with somebody else, it would be like, what? I almost felt a little of that when it looked like him and Beth were going to become boyfriend girlfriend or something more than they were.
I never really thought it was that way with Beth. I think I always just thought it was more like that they had a bond, but it wasn't any kind of a attraction type bond.
Sexual thing.
Like almost more of a fatherly thing.
Well, I was getting a little worried. I felt more like they were becoming good friends. But it just felt a little more relationshipy that they were heading.
Yeah.
But of course, but,
Not anymore.
Not anymore, but so what do you guys like? What are some of your favorite moments?
I actually, this is kind of a cop-out because it's just recent. But I actually, just because I was rewatching the final episode here right before we got on, I totally dig that the way that is it Morgan came back into the show and the way that he's hung around the whole time, and had a couple like cameos throughout, but he
Yeah.
was there from the very beginning. I think that's kind of cool that they've
Yeah.
carried him on and shown that enough that he's had this huge journey that we just kind of see snippets of, because he's very changed from when he was first, Rick's neighbor or whatever it was
Yeah.
at the very beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And now he comes back and he's like this badass, but he also clearly has a purpose.
The Morganator.
Yeah, he learned some stuff while we wasn't watching or something. Had a fight.
Oh yeah. It's
like,
and
man.
he went through that
I
crazy
definitely-
phase
I
where he
definitely-
was all cooped up and had taken over that whatever you call it, bunker or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
saying that's
love
my
Morgan.
favorite part of the show, but I'm looking forward to seeing how he becomes if he becomes a part of the group or how he fits
Yeah.
in now.
I hope he's a regular, at the very least for a little while, because I would feel gypped if he's like, well, nice to see you, Rick, and leaves or something.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a little worried that I agree. Like he is like in many ways one of the original characters because he's in the first episode. He's just been out of sight for so long.
Right.
And they teased it the whole season, like you said, and it was such an awesome moment. I was like, fucking hell, yes. It's
Yeah.
like, finally.
Yeah, that was probably the most drug out
He's
thing.
an awesome
ever.
character, and you don't know like what the hell transpired with him. He sort of seems like a little monk now, or something's going on.
Yeah.
He's different. He's changed.
Like a monk, is that what you said?
Yeah, he's kind of got himself together like a monk. I would have to
Yeah,
agree
yeah.
with that feeling on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Lisa thinks that his brother is the priest. The priest character. I forget his name.
Like in real life?
Show like that.
Oh.
Like he's there for a reason. Like he's been following some path for a reason.
Oh,
and
you're just
like he's in the
speculating.
church and he picked up.
Well, he's been following them the whole time because that was the whole deal. Like Rick was, said, hey, I will wait for you, or I will constantly. I'm gonna, no matter what, I'm gonna try and stay in touch with you, and that's who he was always on the walkie-talkie with.
Right, but like Lisa and I suspect a little bit. Like maybe there's a little more to it. Maybe
There's more.
the priest is his brother. Maybe.
Oh, okay, I got you. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, he kind of found the church,
Yeah.
and that
Pretty
church was
easy.
out. The church was like in the middle of the woods, really. Like, how would he find that?
Yeah, that's
It is kind of. I never really thought about that, but it makes sense.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, could be something to it.
If there's a worst character currently, it's him. Because I don't trust him. He seems like
Yeah.
a coward.
Yeah.
He betrayed the group. It's like I just want to punch him in the face and leave him outside or something.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
Gabriel, the
Oh yeah, okay.
priest. Yeah.
The priest.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, he's a. I think as far as like my favorite was when Daryl was in the woods with Beth, and he was getting drunk and he just kind of like totally lost his composure, and you saw, just what kind of stuff goes on inside of him all the time. Where that quiet angle of his comes from.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good
Yeah,
seeing them two bond. You got to kind of know both of them more.
yeah, it was really interesting. Like after being together as a group in the prison, splitting them all up, the survivors of that whole incident, um, and that it really showed they lost their self, of who they are and how to refine themselves and rebond with the individuals they were with, and then they all wound up together at Terminus later. I mean, it's been that kind of roller coaster, um, sort of back and forth. Like, we're a group and we're sitting, we're getting attacked now, and
Yeah,
we have to get on the run. And it's like it's really like forces them to face themselves a lot of times, and it's really interesting to see their different viewpoints and how they react to it. Tyrese, was suicidal at one point, and just was calm the next. Sort of like just faced himself and his fears, and like, okay, I do want to live, and I do care about my friends.
yeah,
Um, and you get a lot of that, and I mean, it all stems from fear, and just like, even if you survive, what the hell you're surviving for? It's not going to
Yeah.
get better, or it's going to take a lot to change this world again. Normal. So what do you do meanwhile?
Yeah, it would not be an ideal place to be. It would be tough to adjust, you know.
yeah. I don't know how long I
Yeah.
could make it.
So and I mean, it's obviously like the show is pinned around Rick, and he was the family man, and his wife died, and he totally lost it. But he still got Carl, who's grown up in this world and went from being an innocent, dangerous kid, just to being really, really somebody like anybody in the group could depend on. Really,
Yeah,
I'd call on, I'd stand by his side before a lot of the other ones,
yeah,
in most cases. Um, he's such a great character.
The Great Killer, is that what you're gonna say?
That too.
That's gotta be a great job being a kid,
We
like
got
getting to.
super killer in the chat. Why didn't Maggie say something about what she heard? Oh, I guess he was referring to when the priest was talking.
oh,
Yeah, it sort of came up later, but it was after the fact, and um, I mean, sometimes they do that kind of like the suspense of something, but becomes moot later on.
yeah. It was a lot happening right around that time. I don't know. It's like just like
Yeah,
so much to keep up with.
yeah. I mean, I think she might have said something at some point, but it was, yeah. It's sort of like nothing could really be done, or really wasn't
Yeah,
any issue at the moment, or something. I forget the specifics, but it's kind of like, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna open fire on the town, and
yeah,
you want to sort of keep the peace, and not let everybody's at each other's throat or something, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a difficult world to live in, you know, especially when like in the town, it's, you know, and they're a bunch of savages entering, you know, a bunch of innocents in a savage world, you know. Things are going to go wrong.
Yeah. And they was pretty dead on, like you was talking about Carl, seeing how, like, when he got back to, like, normal life with other kids his age, he just didn't click, man. It's like, they was all playing games and stuff, and he's like, man, they need us here, you know. They're weak.
Yeah, he adjusted quickly though. I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
but not off the bat. He was like,
yeah.
"What? Video games? What the hell? I'm doing this for real." You know, I'm killing zombies. I don't need to do it in a video game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was pretty hilarious. Um, going on, just yeah, I was talking about Rick, like, you know, being the centerpiece of the show, and the you know, him and his family.
Yeah.
They lost the mom, but they still Carl, and they got the baby, which is like the most difficult thing to
Oh,
handle
yeah.
in a zombie apocalypse, especially. It's pretty much like carrying around a siren.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just
You
gets
know,
in
the
the
kid's been mostly cool, but
Yeah,
still,
especially since Tyrese is gone now. They lost a great babysitter, man. He was he was really good. He was
he
really
was a
good
good
with it.
babysitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call.
Suicidal babysitter.
you can't just call 1-800 babysitter anymore. But yeah, I mean, that's you know, you really have to, being a father and a family man. You know, you have to consider your family in every move, and you know, I'm worried about Rick because I feel like his decisions are going to cost him his family and the group if he keeps going off the deep end
Yeah.
in that direction. But you know, I mean, we'll see. Because I love that Morgan's back, but I don't know, like, Morgan's different and Rick is different, and the group is
Yeah, if they're gonna.
ginormous now.
Yeah, I mean, all the reasons that, like, I feel like all the reasons that Morgan went to find him may be gone now.
Right.
You know, if he was out there looking for Rick specifically, because, you know, Rick was a good person and,
Yeah.
you know, somebody that was, you know, kind of had it together still after everything had fallen apart. I'm wondering, you know, how's Morgan going to react to something like that?
Yeah, you know, like you guys were saying, his monk, like, is he gonna be able to deal with the Rick that he just saw kill somebody?
True. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there'll be some clashing, or at least, you know, a difference of opinion. It'll be interesting to see where the show goes at this point. You know, always, I think obviously, like, being in that town that's ultra protected, they clearly showed with the last couple of episodes that it's just as dangerous as anything anywhere they've ever been.
Yeah.
Zombies are left and right. They had the most horrible death, which was with Noah. You know, poor.
Oh.
I want to say Gary, not Gary.
Glenn.
Maggie, Glenn, yeah, Glenn.
Yeah. That was
Glenn, who has never lost anybody on his watch, was face to face with one of his good friends dying right in front of him, which is horrible. And I liked Noah from the beginning. I wasn't sure who he was, but really got to like him as time went on. And obviously, you know, it's like I almost thought like, you know, he was going to work on the houses in town and stuff. I almost thought quite some time, and then of course they rip his face off, and it's like, oh man, I really like that guy.
Yeah, it was pretty intense too, man. They really like zoomed in and like really focused on that. What you talking about, ripping his face off, man? That was pretty brutal.
Does it seem like they've?
Well,
does it seem like they're doing more of that this year, where they're like zooming in and there's more blood splatter on the screen and like just caving in nastiness?
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to just
I
take
think
it to another level.
It's a matter of they are always topping themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like just when you thought, oh, it's just, you know, they're just gonna kill somebody else, or you know, it's gonna be another zombie death or whatever. It's always unexpected, you know.
Yeah, it's unfair. It's totally unfair to the watcher.
I thought it was
like watcher abuse.
I think they've been pretty brilliant, you know, with the writing and just the characters and crafty. And I mean, I got to give it up to the writers. I also got to give it up to the directors, who really do a great job of, you know, doing a series and making it interesting and fun and you know, playing on the drama and all that.
Yeah, they're definitely stepping it up every season.
Yeah. I
mean, it was a good season from start to finish. Really.
You know, it's like
Terminus, man, I didn't expect them to go in there and like clean house like they did so quick. Like right off one episode, you know. Which,
well, that's true. You thought that was going to be a long storyline.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, they took what, half the season to get there, and it's like, oh, everybody's dead. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's weird. It seems like they're going through like things that they should have been sticking around for longer.
Yeah.
I don't know, from like a viewer, I just feel like that they could have, because it seems like they're getting to some of the things, either they're trying to get further away from the comic book, or they're trying to get closer to things that have happened in the comic book coming up.
Yeah, they're beyond the prison. I don't know what's coming up. I didn't read. You know, like
there's way worse things coming.
The army guy. And I expect like the army guy and the guy who's going to take him to Washington and, you know, come up with a formula or whatever, you know, all that stuff I didn't read in the comic yet. But I really like all those characters and that group dynamic, and you know, like I said, like there's tons of characters now. And you could add the talent to them now because it's all one giant group now.
Yeah.
You know, they killed the character with my name, but I still love him. That guy was an asshole. So. He had to die.
I'm a little behind in the comic. Like what Johannes was saying, I get the trade paperbacks, but you know, they're basically 6 months behind. So I don't even think I've read the last one that I bought. I bought like 2 at once, and I'm just now catching up on that. So yeah, I stay about 6 months behind.
Yeah. I'm probably still 6 months behind, but there's that thing coming up with that guy with that thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Alright.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that ain't right. So, I mean, there's some things that are just like really, really awful. I mean, things that scared the crap out of me when I was reading them in the book, where I was just like, this could happen. You know, like there's people
Yeah.
out there, you know, that you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the thing. The zombies is just part of the problem. I mean, the
yeah,
people is what's scary, you know.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They're still scary people no
Well,
matter what.
they
Well, and at some point they almost became
they
worse.
hinted at
Yeah.
What's that?
yeah,
You kind of broke up there.
they
a little
hinted
bit.
at in the talking show with the wolves.
Oh yeah.
You know, they
Yeah.
pretty much gave it away because it's like, what are these W's? And they pretty much gave it away in the Talking Dead show. But then it was in the next episode, they pretty much said it. So it's like, you know, it's all the dynamics that are happening within the town, but it's also, okay, now there's another group, and, you know, are they going to take the defense or go and attack them, or, you know, what's going to happen there? And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of questions which built on pretty much the whole next season, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you never know. That could just be like a couple of doofy guys that they're just going to burn at the beginning of next season with the way that they've been acting. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like, it could just be,
Yeah,
Yep.
I kind of agree. They come across as kind of stupid and I don't know whatnot, and yet they like kind of masterminded that whole thing with trapping all the zombies in the trucks, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. I'm not sure it added up that those were the
Yeah.
type of guys to pull that off.
Yeah. Maybe they was just the flunkies, you know.
yeah. I mean, they could be the flunkies for worse things to come, or you know, like I said, they could just be some guys to keep us talking, you know, until next season, and
Yeah.
off they go within the next, you know, the first 30 seconds of the show.
Yeah.
They're off in a totally different new direction.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the town could get attacked, and then they'll run for it, and they'll find a yacht and go out to sea for a while. Who knows?
Yeah. You never know.
Why has nobody thought of that?
Wow.
I'm pretty sure that would have been my
But
first.
you know, I mean, I really didn't have anything specific I wanted to talk about. Just talk about the show tonight with a bunch of friends, and you know, it's just love the show. Like I said, it's the only one I'm watching live as much as I can. You know,
Yeah.
and it's such an experience. And you know, I never thought I would be into a zombie TV show, and it's so well done, and it just gets better and better. And I got, you know, everybody who's been on it, the actors are phenomenal, and it's hilarious that a lot of them are British, and when you see them in interviews and whatnot, tell.
The accent throws you off.
Yeah.
True.
They do amazing American accents.
Oh my gosh, just like when they had Morgan on, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, by the way, Morgan's British," and you're like, "What?"
No way. And I've seen him in a lot of
Yeah.
different shows, and I've always thought he was American, you know.
Yeah,
He always did American role, as far as I know.
yeah. He's always been like anything that he's ever been in. I've always really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I was really, really excited when they brought him back. I mean, I almost jumped out of my seat when I was like, finally, like, yes, they're finally doing this.
Yeah.
He's a great actor, man.
I gotta say, like, my least favorite episode this past season, it was only because I was so anxious to see what was happening next, but it was the first after the season break, where it's Tyrese facing a lot of the dead victims of the past,
Oh yeah.
including the governor was there.
Yeah.
It was a really interesting episode. It was kind of like really different than anything before or after.
True.
It was kind of artsy and weird.
Yeah.
But it's like looking back on it, it's like, oh, at least we got to see a lot of the past characters
Cast members come back.
show up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of neat. But I was so anxious to see like what was happening next. I was like, well, get on with it,
Yeah, it was kind of a little drug out. I mean, well, they kept you hanging like, is he gonna live? Is he gonna die? Oh, they cut his arm off. He's gonna make it, but
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like,
but that's
no,
the thing.
they're not
They
gonna
want
do
you
that.
to.
I remember
They want
watching
you to
it.
have that
Like,
itch
no.
to see what's next.
yeah.
Yeah. It's so well done. I mean, I play into it because it's just that they do it just right. Yeah.
I think there may have been one episode last season. You remember when they was looking for Beth, Carol, and Daryl, and they got in that van on the bridge, and the van, they rolled it off the bridge. You remember it just landed like flat on its wheels?
Right.
Yeah.
That was the only time I think I was like disappointed in the special effects. I'm like,
I felt the exact same way. I was just like, what?
what?
Was
That's
that?
just
Come on.
yeah.
You guys know better than that.
Yeah. I mean, I would have expected like in season 1 or something, but they've come such a long ways, and it just, I don't know, it just looked fake.
Yeah.
There's no way it would have landed like that.
Yeah, we all know that when you jump something off a
I was
bridge,
kinda
you gotta
wondering
try
why-
to put her side down.
I think
Yeah, I remember thinking like, why did they do this?
Yeah.
What's the purpose?
Yeah, exactly.
that was a really interesting part in the season, though. I was really into it when they were, when we were trying to figure out what the heck happened with Beth. I think that was added to why it was so disappointing when they killed her off, because it was like they built up to this and we finally know what's going on, and then Carol's there at the same place, and then boom, it's over. That was probably, as into it as I was, that was probably my least favorite thing about what has happened this past season.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of built it
The timing just seemed so wrong. Go ahead.
So wrong! How dare you! So true, though.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
kind of like
that's
that. I mean, it killed the
really sad. I
momentum
mean,
of
yeah.
that storyline.
It did.
Yeah.
It definitely.
But that's life, and especially that's life in Walking Dead. I mean, it's like that you don't get to see things develop because, hey, this person's dead now, so
Yeah.
it's not going to go anywhere. That's the reality. I mean, it sucked when they killed Herschel. I was like, really? You're going to kill an old man?
Yeah. That was probably the most emotional part for me, was when they, how they built him up. He saved everybody. They was all dying. They had that virus, and he just had saved pretty much all of them. A few people died, but
Yeah.
then he bites the dust like that.
Yeah.
And that had a
I mean,
real end. They're good.
They chopped his head off. I mean, it was brutal,
Yeah.
but sort of a fitting end
Yeah.
in a weird sort of way, you know. But he was a lovable character, and you know, sort of the one that kept Rick straight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
for
lot
sure.
of times, you know.
What's the term? Moral compass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Yeah, he was a good dude.
Yeah, I got to meet him at a wizard show right after. I think that was right after he died out there. I got to meet him and Michael Rooker, Merle. That was pretty cool. Yeah. Old Merle.
Oh, I like that guy.
Yeah, he's cool, man.
Even
Yeah,
his steel hand. He was such like the perfect bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. At the start, man, at the first season, you hated that dude.
Yeah. And I did like how he kind of redeemed himself at the end, you know, before he
Yeah,
died.
definitely.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. He was kind of on the fence the whole, you know, the whole last few episodes. Everybody know how, you know, is he a scumbag? Can he change? You know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I thought his death was a lot more moving than what came the next episode, the blonde Andrea.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
You
pretty
know,
much just didn't like her,
I
man.
felt bad about her death.
Yeah,
Well, she was she always hooking up with the bad guys,
yeah,
and she asked for it. I don't know.
yeah,
Gosh. Jeez.
I liked her character, but it was like just watching somebody who always did the wrong decision.
yeah,
You know, come to see, you know, their ultimate fate is going to be, well, you're going to pay for that.
yeah,
But yeah, when Michael Rooker's character died, that was so touching, and it was another, you know, Daryl crying episode.
What a wuss.
I saw
He
when I was
just broke apart and see it on his face.
when I was looking for reference material tonight, I kept running across like little like Daryl's face, but it had been squashed down when he was crying into a baby's face. Oh, it was good. And I had to think about it for a minute. I'm like, why do people keep doing? Oh, right, because he cries all the time.
Don't feel bad, Peter. Scott Circlin, he won a free print. He picked Daryl too. That was his favorite. On the Drawing Dead stuff, the giveaway. So you're not alone.
Right.
Nah, I do. I like Daryl, but I'm not crazy about him like the women are. Oh, that's all you hear, man. It's like it's Daryl's show, you know.
The Daryl show.
Yeah.
You know, I could name a lot of the characters. I love Glenn. You know, Glenn's a great character. He's been essentially he was a pinata in the beginning, almost like, you know, throw me in a pit. You know, let me be a zombie bait. You know, to sort of come into grips with that, and like, hey, you know, waking up a bit, and it's almost he's like losing direction a little bit here and there, but he's a force to be reckoned with, and definitely, you know, if you ever need something that's outside of town, he's the guy to call on to go with.
Yeah.
You know, I love Maggie. You know, Maggie could be kick-ass, and also a fun-loving character. You know, she's like part of the support staff in many ways, like Um, Carol, of course, is kick-ass now, and Michonne has found herself, gone back to what she was before, the whole shock of the zombie apocalypse. She was essentially a mess when we first saw her.
Yeah.
Even though she was a kick-ass character, she, as a person, she pretty much lost herself and her soul and everything. Her marbles, especially.
Yeah.
Talking to dead people.
Yes.
And obviously you can't watch the show and not like Rick.
Yeah.
Carl's awesome.
Carl's grown on me. When Carl was a little kid, he just
Um,
kind of annoyed me. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I don't
He was
have.
always-
Maybe I can't think back that far, but
Yeah, he was always
Yeah,
wanting to
when he was
shoot
young.
something, or he's always wanting.
Give
me the gun, Dad.
He was dangerous as a kid.
Yeah.
yeah,
He killed people accidentally, or something.
Carol, man, she's really turned ruthless. That's something. How that last episode, what's the married guy, the doctor? You remember he
Yeah.
wasn't afraid of Rick, but he was really scared of Carol.
Well, that's probably because
Yeah,
you've
it was
seen
a
that, like,
great scene within the hallway, and
Yeah.
he's like a giant, and she's like, really tiny
Yeah.
in comparison, but she's like, go ahead, make you move.
Yeah, she's like, I could kill you,
yeah. Carol has turned kind. She's scary, but she's fearless.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Going back to Carl for a second, I'm a little curious
Okay.
to see how his little romance plays out. He's got himself a little girlfriend.
she's gonna get
Yeah.
She's gonna get it.
eaten. She's gonna get eaten.
Get eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of scared of her right now, I think.
Yeah.
That's like-
it's-
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
much,
she's a
which
girl.
is a great.
Yeah, he's. I guess
she's
he's
a
never
girl,
been in it.
but
Yeah.
also like she's hanging out outside the town. I mean, she's got guts.
Yeah.
More guts than him, maybe. I think that plays really well.
What about touch base maybe on Sasha, man? She's changed a lot too.
Sasha.
Tyrese's
really-
sister.
They're really playing up her inner struggle right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's ready to take out the priest.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Somebody
I was
will.
like, a part of me was like, do it.
Do it. Shoot him in the head.
Yeah. Well, she lost Tyrese, and she lost her brother, and she lost her boyfriend Bob.
Yeah.
And she's been through the mill, and she's sort of losing her mind. I've definitely grown to like her even more.
Yeah. And she's another character that wasn't in the comic also. I think Tyrese had a daughter and
Yeah.
her boyfriend, right? And
Yeah, you're right.
yeah. And I guess they replaced her on the show with, made it his sister. So it's interesting to see her, how they developed her.
So, wait, every season but the first one is what, 13 episodes?
I think they're
Or
12.
is it, no, 60?
It might be 16. Yeah, it is 16. It's 8. Yeah, 8 per mid-season.
60, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the first season was what, like 5 episodes or 6 or something?
Yeah, first season was 6. Just like the new show is going to be 6 for the first season. I guess if it does well, they'll pick that one up. But this is, I guess they do it season by season. It's going to have another season. They pretty much should sign on for another 5 seasons, but I don't know how they do this. But it's the highest rated cable show. Like I said, I'm not sure how it compares to Game of Thrones, but it's doing them really well in the ratings. I think the season premiere for 5 brought in at least 20 million people.
Wow.
Correct. So it's nothing to sneeze at, and everybody watches the old episodes over, so whether they're showing new episodes or old episodes, it's doing the network awesome. And the network has had some great shows recently. Mad Men is ending, and you have Breaking Bad, which you have the spin-off, which is happening now.
Yeah.
Better Call Saul. That's great fun.
Pretty good show, man.
And they have other things, but historic, shows I'm not too interested in. But I think it's really built up in the last couple of years, especially having more and more quality shows on that network. Sort of reminds me of the early days of HBO.
Yeah.
If they keep up with it, keep making quality shows. Not always the easy thing.
Yeah, it's true.
So you want to end this soon? Unless there's something you really want to talk about, we can do sort of like last comments about what you guys individually think, and just do websites and whatnot.
I don't have anything left to say. Burning on my mind about the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of distracted. My screen just crashed on me. I lost a whole bunch of work because I forgot.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Mine just locked up, and that distracted me too. But I didn't lose anything. It just locked up on me for a couple minutes.
Yeah, my Manga Studio for whatever reason just does not like doesn't like the Google Hangouts, and every now and then, man, it'll stick it to me.
That sucks.
Yeah. Oh,
Do you have any other stuff running? You
On
probably
what?
just have to do like the Hangout and Manga, nothing else going on.
Yeah, that's all this going on.
I know like I know I have a pretty powerful computer, but with the Hangout going, I can't do a lot of much else.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing Manga Studio and a Hangout.
As long as I don't, because I started working in vectors the other day, last week or the week before, and that seems to suck up more information. And some of the pens that I've made, they don't do well when there's like a lot of use going on, and that's when things will freeze up. And I accidentally clicked on one, and I touched the page with it, and it was done. And I was like, oh no.
Well, my pencil's still working, so.
That's good.
Way to stick it there, buddy. When are you gonna get? Didn't you just get a Cintiq or something?
What?
When are you gonna get caught up to the digital age?
Well, I did get a Wacom, which I have yet to plug in and give it a go.
Oh my
But
god.
you know, I just have too much stuff going on to, you know, I'm trying to get like the stuff I'm doing on track. So I do it with more frequency and whatnot. You know, and I do want to. By the way, I'll say this live. I'd like to hang out with you down the line, you know, pertaining to the Pelican and our project together and whatnot. Um, so I think that would be important, and it could be one of your days, 100 days, if you want.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
we'll talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
All right. Yeah, we could do that sometime.
Yeah. I will mention that, you know, I'm not sure when I'm going to get back to this. I got 100 other things to do and commissions, and but like I said, I'll finish the Alien piece tomorrow. I'll hopefully get back to this maybe over the weekend. I got some other things I got to do ahead of this. Commissions being prominent, but just in case anybody was interested, this is shaping up slowly. It's Maggie, Carol, Michonne, and there'll be a bunch of zombies on top.
Ooh.
So
Looks
it's a
good.
fun little piece. I'll post it on eBay. If it's any good, I'll make a print. But we'll see. One never knows. Okay, so I'll click on each of you, and here's Brad. So, any last thoughts about Walking Dead and just again?
No, it's a great show, and thought it was kind of cool to get on here. I know you've been dying to get on here and chat about it, but yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool show, and I mean, cool TV show, but cool show to get on here and do some artwork while we chat about it too.
I like that card you got there. It's looking good.
Thank you, Chuck. It's funny.
Yeah.
This is not what I should be working on, but I'm like, man, we're talking Walking Dead. I don't have any Walking Dead artwork. I can at least come up with something horror related, right?
That's good. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's a nice piece. All right. Well, then we have Johannes.
Johannes Vick. Let me find my. Oh, you know what? It crashed. I don't have it anymore. Okay, so Johannes Vick, pretty much everywhere. Check me out on Patreon and Facebook, and doing the 100 days of comic books the second time around on days 30 something. I'm constantly playing keep up on what day it is, and yeah, if you like what you're seeing here, I'll probably put this out as a print when it's done. Maybe I'll even put it on the Patreon. So
Cool.
check it out.
And Kenny.
Like I said before, my website's midnighthorizoncomics.com. I also do the Walking Dead YouTube show, Drawing Dead. Hopefully I'll have something up soon. I'm thinking about doing Tyrese next. That's one I've been wanting to do, which I guess we all know here. He's kicked the bucket, but still he's worth doing.
Even more
character.
reason now, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great show, and I hope it lasts at least 10 years, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. In that regard, yeah, definitely. Like, I hope it's a really long. The show has a really long life. If just to see what develops with these characters and where this crazy world takes them,
Yeah.
and all that, it's I just want more. And it's even though it's like I'm worried about the direction sometimes, it's always interesting where they wind up and who's still around and who they're facing off now. And
Yeah.
And it's just, it becomes more and more, you know, if you look at the big picture of where they've been and what they've been through. And yeah, it's like you have to question your sanity, and then they find their way back to, you know, themselves. And yeah, it's just, I love the show. And you know, maybe next year I'll do this again. Maybe a little more structured, but kind of all over the place. But just having fun. Hope you enjoyed the video. Become a patron of mine for this and other videos I do, and all the comics and art I create. You can support me that way, of course. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed it, and see you again soon doing something else.
Cool. Thanks for having us on.
Awesome.
Take care,
Thanks,
everyone.
man. Take care.
My pleasure.